Let me tell you something a little. No one cares that you're tired. Not your boss, not your friends, not the marketplace, not even life itself. Now that might sound harsh, but it's true. You can be overwhelmed.
Yeah.
You can be exhausted. You can your helms. But until you produce results, until you achieve something, the world will keep on spinning without ever asking how you're feeling.
Like a minute straight. The world rewards value, not effort, not potential.
You say, but Jim, I worked so hard. Yes, and that's good. But if you worked hard and didn't get the outcome, you've still got work to do. Don't expect sympathy for the hustle. Expect results from the hustle. Because listen, people will line up to celebrate your victory, but they won't show up to carry your burden. Why? Because life doesn't pay for effort, it pays for outcome. Now don't let that discourage you. Because here's the beauty: when you finally win, they'll all notice. They'll ask how you did it. They'll invite you to speak. They'll quote your story. But only when you've got a quote your story worth. You're tired. Yes, you're stretched then. You've been grinding day and night. But until you cross finish line, don't expect the applause. Expect resistance. Expect silence. And push forward anyway. Because in the end, my friend, when you win, everyone listens. But until you, the world's next says, next, let me leave you with this: get up, shake, get off the dust, and go finish what you started. No one cares that you're tired until you win. But when you win, they'll care. You can scream in silence when no one's looked down and hope someone hears you. But let me tell you something harsh: no one cares. Not right now. Not until you win. It's not that people are cruel. It's not the world is heartless. It's just reality. We live in a world that doesn't pay attention to your tears. It pays attention to your results. You can be the harking person in the room. You can give it everything you've got. Late nights, early mornings, sacrifices that no one sees. No one claps. Why? Because effort is invisible. Pain is invisible. But success is loud. It's visible. It's undeniable. When was the last time the world stopped to cheer for someone who almost made it, almost famous, almost successful, almost won, almost? No reward for, I tried really hard. The market doesn't reward effort. It rewards value. And value, my friend, is measured in what you've built, maybe what you've finished. Now be you're thinking, but I'm doing my best. And that's fine. Here's the truth. Doing your best only matters when your best is enough to win. That doesn't mean your struggle isn't real. It doesn't mean your pain isn't valid. It just means that until you cross that finish line, your pain is yours to carry. Alone. People will show up at your finish line, not your starting line. They'll take selfies at your success, but they won't carry your bags on the journey. They will post your highlight reel. They won't see your highlight reel. But they won't sit with you during the dark nights you questioned everything. Because no one really sees your grind until it becomes glory. They forget how hard it was. You want the world to notice. You want their respect. Win. You want to change your family's life. Win. You don't need everyone to understand you. You don't need to feel what you're feeling. You need to get up, no matter how tired, and keep going. Because that finish line isn't moving closer by itself. You're not in the truth. You're not alone in your pain. Every champion through fire. Every winner was once broken, but they refused to let the world define them by their weakness. They kept going in silence. And when they won, the world turned around and said, we always believed in you, but they didn't. They just believe in winners. So what do you do now? You rise up, you stand up again, and you run, even if it's with blisters on your feet and pain in your chest. Because while you're tired, while you're struggling, somewhere out there, your future to be claimed, your name, your legacy, your success, it's waiting for you on the other side of exhaustion. Then who made it? They won version of you. They'll thank you for not quitting today. So let me say it again, loud and clear. You can cry. You can scream. You can be tired, broken, and worn down. But when you do, everyone will. So go win. Would you like this formatted for a YouTube video script with background music cues or broken into shorts? If you're recording, you said expand, not chat GT saying absolutely. Here's an expanded 700-word motivational speech based on Hookah to Jew. You've been working day and no sleep, no rest, and guess what? Nobody's watching. Until you succeed. This version is written in a powerful, serious tone, with elements, storytelling, and reflection, perfect for video or a deep narration, emotional voiceover. A speech, nobody's watching until you succeed. You've been working day and night, posting less, rest, talking in silence, doing more, and yet it feels like nobody notices, nobody claps, nobody asks how you're holding up. No one's checking in up. Just support. And I'm here to tell you that silence, that feeling of being invisible, because nobody's watching until you succeed. You can put in 1-2 hour days. You can pour heart into missed parties, skip weekends, and sacrifice everything you once thought was fun. But if there's no breakthrough yet, no one sees the storm you're fighting. You post your work online. 2 likes. You tell a few about your dream. They few people, but don't really care. They smile. You stay up 3 a.m. building your future. But at 3 a.m., the world is asleep. And so it feels like you're alone. But here's the truth. Every great story begins in silence. Every champion, every success, every legacy, everything with seasons of being ignored, because people don't watch the grind. They watch the glory. Nobody shows up for the early reps in the gym. Nobody's interested in your failures, your setbacks, your broken moments. They won't watch your 100th try, but they will replay your victory clip 100 times. That's how the world works. And no, it's fair, but it's real. You're not being ignored because you're not working hard. You're being broken because yet, and when you do, oh, they'll come running. They'll say, I always believed in you. They'll ask you for interviews. They'll repost your story. They'll say you were inspiring from the beginning. But where were they when you were crying quietly in your room? Where were they when you did everything you were building? Where were they when you had to encourage yourself to keep going? They were waiting to see if you'd actually make it. They want to support a win. So what does that mean for you? What does that mean? It means stop expecting validation. Stop waiting for people to notice. Stop hoping will come along Jewing and say, I see how hard you're trying, because they won't. Not yet, and that's okay, because this isn't about attention. This isn't about applause. This is about legacy. You were born to build, to create, to conquer, and to show up every day, even when the room is empty. And room will come. Won't be empty anymore. The audience will be full. The comments will overflow. The DMs will be filled with praise. But don't let the silence now fool you. You're not being overlooked. You're just still becoming. And once what you were meant to be, everyone will watch. So tonight, and you're tired and it feels like no one's watching, keep going. Because your future self your breakthrough is watching. Your victory is waiting for you to get through this lonely chapter. And when you do, will become noise. Well, the silence, the world will look up. And they'll say, where did this person come from? And you'll smile it because you were always here. They just weren't watching until you succeeded. Exhausted, tired, good. Exhausted, on the edge of giving up. That means you're in the right place. You're pushing yourself. It means you're in the heat of the battle where most people quit. But let me tell you something real, and it's going to sting. The world doesn't care how tired you are. It doesn't care how many hours you've worked. It doesn't care how times you cried in silence. The world doesn't reward pain. It rewards results. Now hear me clearly. I'm not saying your pain doesn't matter. I'm saying life doesn't hand out trophies for effort. It hands them out for outcomes. You could work 20 hours a day. You could sacrifice everything. But if you don't cross the finish line, you don't get the prize. That's not negativity. You don't get to say, but activity. I tried really hard. You don't get to say, because almost doesn't make it count. Effort without execution doesn't move the needle. You think a business pays you because you showed up tired. You think the market cares how burned out you feel. No, it only cares about what you produced. Let me give you an example. 2 people train for a race. One trains with more sacrifice, with more pain. The other win effort, the race who gets the gold medal, the winner. Not the one who tried the hardest, not the one who hurt the most, the one who finished first. It's not about what if injured. It's about what you've built, what you've finished, what you've delivered. Now, does that mean you stop working hard? Of course not. Don't just work to feel like you're doing something, Win. Work to deliver. Work to create undeniable results. No one to come save you. No one is going to reward you for being almost there. No one is going to write a book about someone who tried really hard but didn't make it. They write books and made it, the ones who broke through. They call ones who through. They follow the ones who what they started. And if you want that, you have to stop using exhaustion as your reason. Tired. Good. That means you're pushing limits. Now keep going. Now produce. Now finish. Because when you win, then the world starts listening. Then people start asking, when how did you do it? And you'll smile, because you'll remember when you weren't asking that bleeding quietly in the shadows. They weren't checking in when you were doubting yourself but now they care. Because now you have results. So nobody cares how much it hurts handing out awards for tears. You don't get a paycheck for effort, only for results. Why is this so hard? And start asking, how can I finish this? Because pain is the price, but results are the reward. And if you're getting the reward yet, finish paying. It means you haven't finished paying. So go back in, keep moving. Exhausted, take one more step. Because the world reward pain. But if you fight long, hard enough, smart enough, you'll get what the world does reward victory, respect, legacy. And once that happens, you'll look back on this tired version and saying of yourself, I'm glad I didn't quit when it hurt the most. I want this formatted for reels, a voiceover with music cues, or rewritten Jim Rohn, Eric Thomas style. I can also break this 6 into a 60-second power punch short if you like. You said expand no 4. ChatGPT said, here is a 700-word motivational speech based on Hook 840. You're not weak. You're just waiting for someone to care. They only hears the true care when you win. This speech is written in a calm but firm tone with emotional weight and deep reflection. Perfect for a voiceover, podcast monologue, or cinemativational video, a speech. They only care when you win. You're not weak. I know it feels like it some days. When your energy runs out. When you're tired of fighting battles no one sees. When you're staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., asking yourself it's even worth it. But you're not weak. You're just waiting for someone to care. You're hoping someone will say, I see you. I believe in you. I know you're trying. But here's the hard truth. Most people won't say that. Not now. Not while you're in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Whoa. Or it doesn't notice the climb. It only notices the view from the top. They only care when you win. And that's a truth you've got to make peace with. No one's coming to save you. No one's going to clap for every time you keep going when you're exhausted. No one's handing out encouragement every time you feel broken. Not in the beginning. Not in the middle. Only at the end. Bad. It just means that's how the world works. People cheer when the scoreboard lights up. Not when the practice lights go out. Not while you're working. They'll repost your story once you've made it. Not while you're just surviving. So if you're building that season where in silence sake, wearing in season, where you're holding back tears in public and push through private battles, don't mistake that silence for weakness. Don't confuse their absence for you're not broken. You're just early. Every champion you admire, they went through this too. Every success story started with nights of loneliness. With being misunderstood. That's the price. That's the process. See, you think you need more motivation, but maybe what you really need is acceptance. Acceptance that this is going to be lonely. That the world isn't built to reward effort. It's built to reward results. You can be grinding your soul out every day, but no one sees it'll turn to something they can measure, celebrate, or consume. So here's the mindset shift. Stop waiting for people to care. About NII, start caring more your own future than anyone else's opinion. You don't need an audience to become great. You don't need applause to keep moving forward. You need hunger. You need vision. And when you win, they'll care. They'll ask how you did it. They'll want to be part of your story. They'll say they always believed in you, even if they didn't show it. But you'll know the truth here because you didn't wait for permission. You kept going even when no one was watching. That's strength. That's power. That's what separates from the builders, the dreamers from the doers, the followers from the leaders. So today, if you're on the edge, keep going, not because someone told you to, but made us a promise you refuse to break. They may not care now when you end, but when you will, that's when the world will turn around and say, you were always meant to smile this. And because deep down, you always knew you didn't need them to care. You just needed to finish the mission. You're in the middle of the race. Your legs hurt. Your chest is on fire. You've lost count of the miles. You're breathing hard, thinking about stopping. Just for a moment. But you don't. You keep going, even though no one is clapping. Because that's how life is. Nobody claps during the race. You look to your left, no fans. You look to your right, no one cheering, just silence, sweat, and the sound of your own feet hitting the pavement. That's the grind. That's what this journey feels like most of the time. You show up. You work. You bleed.
You stretch, you fall, and nobody's watching.
Nobody's saying, hey, look at them. They're giving it everything. Because the truth is, people don't cheer for effort. They cheer for results. They don't stand on the sidelines for the process. They gather at the finish line for the victory. That's life. And it's not cruel. It's just real, because let's be honest, you've been working hard. You've been pushing through late nights, early mornings, and weekends that nobody saw. You've been battling doubts, setbacks, loneliness, and still no one claps, no applause, no spotlight, no recognition. And that's when most people quit. Not because they're weak, but because they're discouraged. They think, what's the point if no one even sees me trying? But here's the pointing, you're not doing this for claps. You're doing this for the finish line. Because when you cross it, oh, you'll hear them clap. The same people who didn't notice your struggle will be the first to say, I knew you could do it. They weren't watching during mile 10 when your body wanted to give up. They weren't watching during mile 17 when your vision blurred and your confidence shook. But when you cross mile 26D, when you raise your hands in victory, that's when they'll show up. That's how it's always been. That's how it will always be. You don't get celebrated for showing up to practice. You get celebrated when you win the game. You don't get a medal for trying. You get one for finishing. So what do you do in the meantime? You keep running. Not because of the crowd, but because of the commitment. Not for the applause, but for the purpose. Not to be seen, but to become. You keep running when it's dark, when it's quiet, when no one posts about you, when no one texts you encouragement. You keep running because you believe in where you're going, even if no one else sees it yet. Because when the moment comes, and it will, when you cross that line, when the doors finally open, when your name finally gets mentioned, all the silence, all the loneliness, all the pain, it'll make sense. You'll realizing the race was building you. The solitude was strengthening you. The silence was shaping your character. And the finish line, that was never for them. That was always for you. So next time you look around and wonder why no one's cheering, remind yourself you're still in the race. And nobody claps for the middle. But the finish line is coming. And when it does, they'll cheer loud. They'll say you're inspiring. They'll say they always knew. But you'll know the truth. You weren't running for them. You were running for the version of yourself who refused to quit. So don't slow down. Don't stop. Don't wait for claps that were never meant for the middle. Keep running. The world will clap when you finish.